Hello readers and planner loving friends. Today I'm going to be setting up my February 6-ring A5 planner. I have pulled several different covers from my shelf, ones that I kind of felt had a February vibe, and also just my Louis, because I was trying to decide, do I feel like going back into him for February? It's been a few months since I've used him. I don't think it was, I think it's been since the end of summer, maybe. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring these all out, kind of share them with you, and then take you through the process of which one I'm deciding to use for February. I'm currently in my Filofax that I got new in December. This is that the burgundy color that they have. This is my first Filofax, and I absolutely loved it. It is absolutely beautiful and such a pleasure to use. I just, I was in it for all of December and all of January, and I've just been kind of feeling like I want to brighten up a little bit for February. So we'll put him to the side. One little thing I will say about him, he's kind of special, that leather on there. There's been a couple times where I accidentally maybe got a droplet of water on it and it shows up right away. So you do have to be careful with these Filofax. I'm not sure if you could maybe treat it with something that would maybe make the leather a little less sensitive in that way. But anyway, whenever I would travel with him, because I do travel a lot, I had a dust jacket that I would put it in, which is, I actually also do that with my Louis, although I probably wouldn't even need to. He's very durable, but just to protect it. So, but this probably won't be my last Filofax. I really enjoyed this, and it's a beautiful planner. Highly recommend. Anyway, so let's just quickly kind of go through what I have here to choose from. There is, of course, the beautiful Louis Vuitton. Always such a joy to use, but it is feeling like it's a little bit more of those darker colors, and I think I'm just kind of wanting to lighten up. This is, some of these probably have old stuff in it from the last time I was in. It had some loose pages. This is one of the Erin Condren 6-ring folders. These are really pretty bendy. It's funny, I have several of these, and I find every once in a while I'm in the mood for them, but there is just something about they're a little bit too flexible, and whereas I'll be in the mood every so often to move into one. Usually about halfway through the month, the cover kind of gets on my nerves. So, but this is beautiful, and it would be perfect for February. This is I don't know how all these colors show up in the video, but this is like a very soft pink Kiki K. It's always kind of interesting to see what's in some of these binders that I haven't used in a long time. So this is a maybe. This is a it might look red, but it's actually not. It's almost like a really deep fuchsia. Another Kiki K that I have. And wow, this would be really pretty. I think I'm not feeling these darker colors. So I'm gonna put that over onto this side. This is a lavender Kiki K leather that I have. Also very pretty. I'll put it here. I'm feeling this one a little less than the pink one, but it's still kind of in the running. Then of course we have my Life is Wonderful, my beautiful Life is Wonderful. And this one has a ton of stuff in it from last time I used it. I don't even do any of this anymore. It's kind of funny. I guess, just with traveling so much, I get so annoyed because all of these little things I will shove in the side end up falling out in the bottom of my bag and just kind of all over. So, this one, of course, is perfect for February. I need to do a little cleaning on the cover there. We'll put him over here. And then finally, this is it's white, this croc cover. This is a cloth and paper. These are absolutely beautiful. He's looking, we have one of my cats coming up. We'll see if she's gonna jump into the frame here. I can't really do anything up here on camera without the cats all of a sudden just deciding they have to be in the middle of it. Anyway, this is a really nice planner as well. I'm just thinking I want a bit of color, whereas this would be okay. This is feeling pretty wintry, and I'm feeling like I just want a little bit of color, so that'll go over here. So that's good. I've narrowed it down to 3. I'll put this guy, I'll talk about this guy in a minute. I'm using him for something else. So, do I feel like the lavender, the soft pink, I think it's surprising because I pulled this off my shelf and I wasn't thinking that I was in them, but I actually think I feel like using this one. It's been a while since I've used that soft lavender. It's definitely not pink, right? But that's okay. It doesn't have to be. All right, I'm gonna grab my Filofax and I'm gonna get everything switched over, and then we'll do a walkthrough of just how I'm using my planners this year. It's a little bit different from what I've been doing in the past. Okay, so that is feeling really nice. Yeah, I think this is absolutely where I feel like living for the month of February, at least. Sometimes I keep them in for 2 months, so maybe this will be for February and March, but we'll just end up seeing what happens. So let's go ahead and walk through what I'm doing for my planner setup this year. It's different than it's been in years past. I think if you've watched my other videos, you'll know that probably for the last maybe it's been a couple years now, I've been using the 12-week year planning system. And I had sort of developed all of these pages that I was using to kind of sort of lay out what I was going to be working on in those 12 weeks. And then setting deadlines for myself in those 12 weeks. And then basically what you're doing, one of the big components of that is that you're giving yourself an execution score. So basically, like, how many of the things that you set out for yourself are you actually executing on? And, I think if I remember correctly, they sort of said in the book that you're trying to get like at least an 80 or 85 execution score every week. It's really great. I just have found, and let me know if you're kind of feeling the same way, I have been feeling very just sort of burned out on complicated or just sort of involved planning systems. And, I had my A5 binder kind of, broken up into like a lot of different sections. I was only keeping the 12 weeks of the time frame in here at a time. So it's just, that I was just really focusing on those 12 weeks. And that was fine and it worked great. I just find that I was craving something more simplistic for 2026 and something that felt easy to use, something that was sort of, I guess, I don't know, this sounds maybe a little bit ridiculous when you're talking about planning, but just it was a little cozier, a little easier, just, I don't know, kind of an already kind of existing. I didn't want to have to reinvent the wheel on things. I was tired of planning systems that have like a million different moving parts, and to the point where it's like the tool that you're using, if planning is a tool, the tool itself is becoming so ever complex that it's requiring more time than it should, or more thought than it should. And so I didn't do a setup video for 2026 or for like January. And a lot of it was because I was just really trying to be thoughtful about what I wanted to change up and what I wanted to be different for 2026. And so let's go through it. We are going back old school, basically. And I'll tell you what I mean by that in a second. Now, there's still some components in here that I was using with regards to my 12-week year planning that I think were positive, and the easy part of them that really did help keep me on track, and a more simplistic way of doing that weekly review that doesn't really, require me to calculate time and, input and all of this kind of stuff. So still kind of keeping it along those lines, but just a much more pared down, simplistic version. So the one thing I will kind of say as far as inserts in here, I am almost exclusively using Infinite Lotus inserts this year. And if I come to something that looks like it's from something else, I'll try to call it out. But pretty much everything that you're going to see in here is from Infinite Lotus. And again, that was just my desire to kind of keep everything kind of one-stop shop, streamlined, looking cohesive, and just really very simple, minimalist, and clean. So we have the 2026 cover page here, and then we can see that it's February, and I have the little monthly cards. I got the whole year for these, and so I just will be changing them out as the months go on. Then I have this first dashboard. Now these top tab dashboards that I have here, these are from Cloth and Paper, and so are these ones, the monthly ones that I have down the side. So I'm pretty sure these are the same labels I had on here before: goals, projects, admin, and personal. I might have changed out that admin tab. But anyway, that's what we have running along the top there. And then I just have two little spots here for just some like kind of sticky notes that I keep ready and handy. Now the first thing we have is my inbox page. Again, this is from Infinite Lotus, and this is just as I kind of think of like high level items of things that I'm kind of working on in the moment. Now we'll see some of these things are repeated later in the planner, but this is just kind of the front and center view for me to sort of have that overview. And then we have this follow one course until success. I've had this in my planner for, I don't know, probably a couple years now. And we can see this is actually from Planner Press. I've had this for quite some time. And I think this focus, follow one course until success is just a really great reminder, and went so well with my desire to just keep things streamlined and simple, and, just reminding me focus, like don't get distracted by, there's a lot of people out there that are doing a lot of bells and whistles with their planning, and that's great. I think it brings them joy. It's just, I'm leaning more and more into the functionality of my planner as my writing career is getting busier, and I have more responsibilities with that. And so I need the extra time that I have. I don't want it to be spent, I guess, kind of messing around in my planner beyond the parts of it that are serving the functions of that career, if that makes any sense. And I have personal stuff in here as well. So then I've got this just kind of ollie clipped here. Now this is a spread that I created myself, and what this is just basically like this sort of a broad overview of the year. And so we can see here, I've divided this up into, like, this is the first half of the year, down here the second half of the year, and I just kind of maybe jot down some global things, and then whatever's here kind of gets broken down into, okay, what do I think I maybe want to tackle in this quarter, each of these quarters, and then here by the month. And so again, this is just, it's in front of my planner, this broad overview. When I sit down, like I did this morning, to do my monthly planning, I was taking a look at this page and saying, okay, what are the big ticket items that I had set for myself for 2026 that I wanted to try and tackle? And I would say I'm keeping this fluid and flexible, because by no means does this maybe end up being the whole show. And that's fine. So like as something comes up, I want to think about, before I add anything to this, I just want to be very thoughtful about adding anything to it. And that's fine if I do, but I have to really think it through before I make that decision and add it to my plate. And you can see I haven't done anything for the second half of the year. And that's because when I did this last year, I kind of went through and I pre-planned like the whole year. Even though I was only focusing on 12 weeks at a time, I did have that kind of long-term thinking, okay, what do I want to do for the whole year? And I kind of, I filled out a lot of stuff. And I really didn't end up sticking to that at all. And I think it's because, it's, you can have that sort of dream overview, but it ended up being much more fluid. And so I just kind of wanted to really focus on really just like 1 month at a time. Like I have listed here what I'd like to accomplish in the first part of the year, and then in each the first and second quarter. But it's really in those months that I'm, getting a little more granular and saying, okay, what did I already get done? Am I ahead of where I thought it would be? Am I a little bit behind? And I have that more flexibility to change that. So I'm not going to be even looking at the second half of the year until I probably get to June, and I do my Q2 overview review and sort of see, okay, what's next? Now you can see there might be stuff that comes up. Like I know I'm going to be going to Author Nation in November. So I went ahead and put that on here because, you know, that's going to be a big chunk of time that I'm going to have to account for. So I do know that's coming up, and I know I haven't put it on here yet, but my husband and I are going on a cruise in the Mediterranean for September. So I'm going to put that on here too, because that's another big chunk of time that I'm going to be away, and I don't plan on doing any work on that trip. I just want to relax and enjoy those excursions. So, okay, so here we have just the yearly, year at a glance, again, Infinite Lotus, and we get into their sort of layout. Now this, I guess you could say this is sort of like the monthly version of what, you know, I created back here, but I have a lot more space. And if I want to get a little more, you know, add a little bit more, or, you know, maybe kind of list out a few more things that need to happen that I just don't have the room for on that yearly spread, then I can do it here. And this is each of the months. And I've said here, because there's different places where I include personal things as well, this is only for business. So this is only for my writing business, the actual writing, the marketing, the admin stuff, anything that has to go along with that, that is only what is happening here. And so you can see I had some things for January, did some of them are going to have to roll over. And then this morning I sat down and said, okay, I've got some processes in place. You know, what am I looking at for February? I'm not done here with this yet. This was just kind of this morning when I sat down to do a little bit of planning. So I got that kind of started. All right. So then these Infinite Lotus pages are kind of nice. They have, you can have your 2026 vision. What are your top goals? And this is very broad, like very big overview, because of course you only get like 5 of them here. So you're not really getting into the weeds here. This is just kind of be almost like what is your verbal statement of your vision, your overall vision for the year kind of thing. So I did like that. It breaks it down into the quarters, just like, you know, high level. And then you can see here we have all the months for Q1. And then it gives you a place to do a Q1 review, like what were your accomplishments, what are any improvements you can make, and any notes that I might want to have when I get to that place. And of course, that would be good planning, brainstorming as I move into Q2. So same thing, takes you through the same layout for all the quarters of 2026. Now, before I even created this page that we had up here, this, when I'm breaking stuff down, this was just like some Erin Condren loose leaf stuff where I was just kind of brainstorming goals. Now, you can see I had crossed some stuff out because I thought I wanted to do some things, and then I was like, gosh, no, I don't want to do, that's not what I'm looking to do. So I'm going to keep these in here because I want to like refer back to them, and then also maybe want to add to them as the year is going on. So this is by no means set in stone. It's a kind of a working document, and actually this would be a great place for me to continue to add anything that I think I might want to do before I add it to, you know, my overall. This is just kind of a work in progress page. And you can see I've broken it down into the same areas that you're going to see later on. I have writing, publishing, marketing, admin and business, finance, personal health, and travel, and then my home kind of thing. So just like as anything kind of comes up in those areas, like this morning I just added this one, or 2 of these actually. I need to get all the windows cleaned and replace several of the screens in the house. And then I want to go through, I've actually already started this project, and get all of the blinds, clean all the blinds. So I have this steamer that I use for that, which is absolutely great and does a really good job. But it is kind of a big project because we have like 42 windows or something like this in this house. And so that is a, you know, probably a multi-month project to really go through and deep clean all those blinds. So, okay, so then the next tab here we have is projects. I haven't really used this much, and the reason why is because I haven't really thought through how I want to use these goal planner pages yet. Because as of right now, you know, I think, you know, what my goals are, it's like, you know, there's sort of things I work on all the time, like my writing, my marketing plans, you know, and that kind of stuff. So, but one area that I was like, oh, this would be a good place to do this is I'm kind of DIYing. We in our basement, I ripped out the shower that we have down there. It's just the one that was in there just got put in not very well. And I want to try replacing that myself and doing like, tile and doing the whole thing. And so I've watched several YouTube videos, of course. That's where I learned how to do everything. And found this one guy that really kind of takes you through the whole thing, and it actually looked very doable and like something I could do myself. And I rationalized, I'm like, well, it's just the basement and it's a very small shower, so even if I messed it up, which I don't think I would, but even if I did, it would be easy to kind of then just pay somebody to come in and do it right, but I wanted to try doing it myself first. So that is what I'm going to be using this page for, because there's actually many things that are going to have to go on here. And the first one that's on my list, and that's something I'd like to do this week, is I need to do a drywall assessment and see if the drywall that is actually like bordering that shower right now is the right kind, because I think it's not, and I might have to pull that out and use the kind that you can put tile on. And I think, it's got some waterproofing quality. I'm clearly not an expert, but that's why I will be following my YouTube friend about that. The next overview here I have is admin. Now this was, when I got my new Filofax, it came with all these really great Filofax planning pages, which I didn't intend on using. They're this kind of creamy color. They seem fine, like there's maybe nothing necessarily wrong with them. It's just that I had already also ordered all of the inserts that I wanted to use from Infinite Lotus. And so, but I did want to keep this little guy in here because this, as you can see, I've already, I had one of the big services done on my car and got new tires, and I want to just sort of mark, okay, they did these are the filters, the alignment that they did, and so anything I'm going to want to look back on, so I had a breast biopsy on the 5th of January. It was negative, no worries, it was good, but I just know that I'm going to be at a doctor's appointment sometime in June, and they're going to be asking me questions about this, and I'm going to be like, I don't know, when was that appointment exactly? Or next year, and I'm going to be like, what was the date? I don't remember. So the other thing I will be using this for is we have several cars, the car registrations, any of the maintenance. So when we get, for this month, one of our cars, I have to go get the oil change, and also the registration is due. So I'm going to mark the dates on here when those things happen, just so I have them easy access, quick looking for the entire year. Okay, so now this is just an expense tracker, and I haven't really started doing much with this yet, but one of my goals for this month, I'm going to take the month to kind of do this, is I want to have a running list that I can just look at a glance and see any of my reoccurring and also one-time business expenses for 2026. Because I am so tired of doing my taxes year after year, and because I did not, kind of track those things really well, and I know that there are automated ways to do that. I know QuickBooks is great, and I do think QuickBooks is something I will move into in the future. I'm not there yet. I don't think I need that level just yet, but quite possibly by next year I will. But I think that this is a good place for me to just start the habit. And so as each of my reoccurring business expenses come up, these are just two I noticed today, I'm going to write down what they are and the amount of them. And so then on this side, it's going to be one-time business expenses. So, the conferences I'm going to this year, the hotels that I'm staying in this year for those conferences, what was it and how much was it, and just those types of things are going to go here. Any, tech that I need, any, computers, although I'm pretty set on computers and stuff like that, but anything like that is going to go here. And I have additional of these pages if I have to add to it, which I probably will by the end of the year. And that is also why I put this little guy back here, because ideally I would also like to be really good about kind of keeping my receipts when I'm out and about for business expenses. So getting really really separating, because a lot of times I'll just use my personal credit card for things that I'm using for my business, and it drives me crazy that I'm just not more consistent about that, because when it comes around tax season kind of thing, and it's there's probably a lot of write-off stuff that I'm missing because I didn't allocate it specifically to my business account. And so this year is a huge goal of mine to really start separating my personal banking account from my business one, and this only using the credit card and the debit card, like that are specifically for my business, for business expenses. And yes, sometimes that's going to mean that I'm in line at Target and I'm buying, milk and eggs and groceries and things like that, and I have to pay for it with my personal card. And then there's the little red divider, and here's all the things that I'm getting for my business. And so I want to be more mindful about that and thoughtful, and also then like just really have a good sense of like, money coming in and money coming out, and just I just want a better handle on all of that. So that's a big goal for me for 2026 with my business. Okay, so then we get into our next tab, which is personal, and I have my habit tracker here, and this has been going pretty okay. I was really good in December. I was okay in January, and not even so much that I had a problem using the habit tracker. I wasn't doing a lot of my habits in January. Like some things I was really great on. You can see I hardly journaled at all though, that whole month, and writing was sporadic kind of thing. But February is a new month. So it's a chance to kind of get going all over again. And I do feel like I'm just kind of going into February with like a lot more energy, a lot more like I'm ready for the year now. And I think it's because I took the time to really set up this planner in a way that's going to be really functional for me and to make sense. And I find myself, I want to grab this. I want to use it. I want to be in it. And it's very clarifying for me in a way that I think maybe my planners haven't been throughout all of 25. Like I think I was just trying to maybe do too much, and I just really pared it down to what do I need and what am I actually going to use and what is the information that I want to have access to all the time. So here we have, it's a weekly cleaning checklist, and you know what, this one for some reason I'm wondering if it's not Infinite Lotus. No, this one is also still Infinite Lotus. I feel like there was one of these regular ones I was using, and so is the habit tracker. So okay, and so the way I really like this weekly cleaning checklist, because here we have the daily tasks, and these are just kind of like my, these have to happen every single day. I am not a person that thrives in chaos, and even if my house starts to kind of get a little bit out of control, I just feel like I can't think straight, and it just kind of like hangs over me. It's like this like negative energy. I know not everybody is that way. Like some people really are very creative in chaos. I'm not one of them. And so these are the things that these are my must-dos with regards to cleaning every single day. And then as the week goes on, kind of larger ticket items, like, I need to get my bath cleaned today. I had to go get some groceries for dinner tonight. We have this like stack. Do you guys do this? Like at the end of my kitchen counter, I have this stack of like papers, like from the mail, and some of it is like important stuff and some of it is just junk, and I don't know why, but like my whole life the stack has happened, and then like every couple weeks I have to go through it, and I don't know. I've never found a cure for the stack of papers on the counter, but anyway, it's gotten into quite a pile, and it's also collecting some tax stuff in there because that's starting to come in, of course, and I'm like, oh no, we can't have that. So I have to get this organized absolutely today. So that's a big to do on my list, getting that done today. And then we have just kind of like, I'm just keeping a running reading list of books that I've either bought or I'm currently reading. And this is a mix of like, some of these are hardbacks, some of these are Kindles, some I have finished. I tend to read multiple books at one time. And so this is just kind of there's no rhyme or reason to this. It's just as I picked up a book and, it's on the list, so I remember to read it, or, I'm currently reading it. So, and then as I finish, I just kind of mark it off that it's done. I will never put my rating on here. And the reason why is because, this is obviously public, and, like any other reader, even though I'm a writer, like any other reader, there are books that I love and there are books that I can't stand, kind of thing. And I don't really talk about the books I don't like. Like, I know writing is hard enough. And just because something wasn't for me doesn't mean it's not for somebody else. And there's plenty of readers out there that are, reviewing the books. And so if I I do review books on like Amazon and Goodreads, but only if I really thought it was like a 4 or 5 star and I can write like a really kind of glowy review for it and just kind of help prop that author up. Otherwise, I don't say. So you'll never see me put a rating on these pages here. So, okay. And so then we have this wish list again from Infinite Lotus. And this is just kind of where I keep, like, if I think, oh, I would like to buy this or need to buy this. And so the only thing that I have on here that I haven't gotten yet is new headphones. And the reason why is because my old ones still work, and well, they mostly work. They've been a little bit kind of finicky, and so I haven't gone out and pulled the trigger on getting new headphones yet. Plus, my old ones are so comfortable, and I'm just really particular because when I'm writing, I can spend several hours in my headphones, or if I'm traveling, I travel so much, and if I'm on the plane and it's like, say it's like a 9-hour flight to London or somewhere like that, those headphones are on my head almost the entire time. And so I need them to be super comfortable. And I almost bought a new version of my headphones. I have the Bose Quiet Comfort, but it's one of the older models. And when they had come out with a new model, I was like, oh, those are nice. And I remember I tried them on in the store, and they had changed the headband on them. And maybe you'll know what I'm talking about if you're familiar with these. And it was a little bit narrower. It was still padded, but it was narrower. And I had it on my head for probably like 2 minutes, and I could already feel the pressure on the top of my head. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to work. Like, I can't buy these. And they were very expensive. And, I'm glad that I didn't and that I thought about that, because there's no way I could have spent hours and hours in those headphones and not, been in pain or ended up with a headache. So anyway, I probably will need, I feel like my headphones are kind of on their last leg. And especially now that I've said that, they'll probably really, go now, but it's just sort of out there. I know I need to get them, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. Okay, so then we get into the actual months and weeks, and we won't spend too much time here because the only thing that's really of note, and probably not for most people, maybe most people do this, is that I have decided to put the entire year into my planner this time. And, like I said, in the past, I was only doing like 12 weeks at a time. And that was mostly fine, except that, like, for example, I just like went to get my hair done. And then I'm making the appointment for my next appointment, right? And that's in April. And so, when I was only having 3 months in here at a time, I didn't have places, to put those things. I would either have to remember, or I'd put it on a sticky note, or it was only in my Apple online calendar type of thing. And so like here, I have vacation here, and then I'm going to Author Nation. But now it's like I can have that in here and see that. And I guess it just makes me feel like I have a better handle on the whole year having this in here. And since I pared down all of the other stuff that was in here that was like not functional and I wasn't using, it really wasn't serving my business or me personally, I have the space to have this in here now. And so it's just the months and the weeks. And again, these monthly tab dividers are from Cloth and Paper, and the inserts are from Infinite Lotus. And so we have the January, which is done now. And then we have the weekly pages. I'll explain these here in a second, but we can kind of just flip through to February because that's where we are right now. And I just, in the monthly calendar, this is not like the nitty gritty. Like I'm not putting any of my content planning in here. I have this whole other planner that I'm using content planning for. This is really just like personal stuff, or work stuff, or writing things. Like once a month I meet with a thrillers writer group. We get together. My birthday is this month, by the way, and so is my mother's. So that's on here. Super Bowl's happening this month. Broncos didn't make it, but that's okay. We'll still watch and cheer. But so anyway, there's that. Now I'm going to show you a blank one of these just so you can see it better. Maybe April's probably blank, huh? Yeah. Okay. So on the back of this monthly page, there's this page. And so this is just kind of like a monthly overview. Like, what are your 3 main priorities for the month? What are any important dates that you want a quick reference to? And then you have 4 different sections where you can create like basically like task lists or to-do lists under 4 different domains, or you could just do one running list of everything together. And then there's this page on the front at the beginning of the weekly layouts. And I've been kind of using this, or at least I did for February, as a, kind of like a pep talk to me, like, hey, remember this. And, because, the writing life, it can be kind of a rough life, and so I think, it does us a service, to either just kind of have like a really inspiring quote here, or just even a message to yourself about like, don't forget like this, and something encouraging and positive, to kind of flip back to throughout the month. So anyway, this is what I did for February. And again, just kind of wrote down what the overall dates were. And then the only things I put here were career, house, and personal, and just kind of a list of kind of the high ticket items that I want to make sure I'm focused on. So then we get into, and today is Monday the 2nd, and so this is the sort of the first weekly spread. I use this, it's a little Erin Condren divider in all my 6-ring binders, and the reason why is because I just flip right to the week. There's no messing around. I just move it every week to where I am, and I can just reach up and flip right to the week. And so I love having that there, and it's like sturdy, so you can like grab a hold of it. It's not like a flimsy tab or anything like that. So this was just kind of, what were my priorities for the week? This week I'm reading The Ghostwriter, and so I've really been enjoying that by Julie Clark, and so I would like to finish that this week. My big priorities, of course, I'd like to get 10,000 words written, and then keep working my marketing plan for my books. And so those are just my 2 big kind of career priorities right now. And then here I will continue to add to this to-do list. Right now I have like, clear out that paper on the end of the counter, please get that taken care of, Becky. And then one of our cars needs an oil change, and then the registration's due. And then down here at the bottom, I just create, I have my main habit tracker, and I do track these 2 things here, but I also like to just have like a quick reference right here, and it's the writing and the workouts, because those are my 2, like, if nothing else, if I get nothing else done each day, I want to make sure I get my writing done, and I want to make sure I get my workout done. And actually, I did go to the gym today, so I got my workout in today. And ideally, my kind of set the goal for myself is that I would like to write at least 5 days a week, and I would like to work out at least 3 days a week. Now, I'm not real strict on what days those need to be. With the writing, I like to try to keep it Monday through Friday, like, more like a regular work schedule. But with the workouts, I'm happy as long as I can get 3 of them in. I feel like I'm staying on track with what I'd like to see happen. So anyway, then we just have these are the weekly, they're just like, what are these? A few lines for each day, and then a notes and a next week. And then down here, I kind of create a word count and a total. So like for the words I wrote today, I'm going to like, what was my word count for today? And then the total. And like right now I'm at 85,000 for my book, but I don't remember. And actually I'd like to try and do a little bit more writing tonight. I prefer to do it earlier in the day, but I think I only got about 600 words this morning. And so I'd like to try to get it up to at least 1,000. It's kind of like my minimal. If I can at least do 1,000 words, then I'm like, okay, good enough, but preferably more. But anyway, so I'm not going to fill that part in for today until tonight before I'm going to bed. Now these little sheets, these are a holdover from what I was using when I was like deeply wedded to the 12-week year. And these are just something I created myself, and you could see I printed up several and posted them. They're just kind of like little half sheets. And I have the main domains that like are my focus points. So I have writing, publishing, marketing, admin and business, finance, house and family, personal health, and travel. And so every week I just pull out one of those sheets and I'm like, okay, what are the, what's the kind of big things I want to make sure I'm getting done this week? And so, this week for writing, it's like I really want to hit that 10,000 words for the week. And nothing for publishing because I'm still working on Her Name Was Lola, even though I had originally hoped and planned this book would be coming out in January. that didn't end up happening. So I had a whole Substack post. It's also on my blog, and I think it went in my newsletter too, about that catastrophe. And it's fine. It's okay. The book is coming along. It will be out, when it's ready. For marketing, I'd like to stick to 3 reels, at least 2 photos, 1 blog post, and a YouTube video. And we are working on the YouTube video right now. For admin and business, I need to fix my newsletter link. When I was messing around with whether or not I wanted to keep Kit, or if Substack was going to be enough, and I couldn't make up my mind, and I didn't keep Kit. And so I decided to go back to Kit, just spend the money, and went back to Kit. But several of my newsletter links they're being wonky and they're not working. And so I need to spend some time and get that fixed. And I know I'm missing out on subscribers as we speak, because I have several people have clicked on the link or reached out to me and say, hey, this is not working. It's just so frustrating, because it's just something I need to sit down and take care of. I'm currently taking an ads course, and I started marketing and using ads for one of my books as a test case, and it's been going really well. So I'm excited about that. But I need to continue to work on that ads course. And so that's on here. Start that business expense tracker, which you saw earlier. I have a bill payment thing that I need to set up. That's a personal finance thing. And then just house and family stuff that I need to take care of. Right now, just personal health is I'd like to just focus on working out those 3 times a week. And for travel, I kind of went through several different itineraries. I checked a couple different cruise lines, decided what exactly were the ports that Rod and I are going to want to go to. And so I'm at the point now where I can just go ahead and book that cruise that I know we both want to take. So that's on my list for this week as well. So you can see kind of as the days go, I kind of use these as to do or checklist sort of things. If there's something I know, that's going to be a running thing, I'll go ahead and put it on there ahead of time. But as each day comes up, I will just fill out my to-do list there. And this Saturday, I want to go see a movie. I can't remember the name of it. It's that new Rachel McAdams movie where she's it's her coworker that she's working with, and he's really mean to her. And then they get on this desert island, and the tables definitely turn. It looks anyway from the trailer. So I'm really excited I want to go see that on Saturday. And of course we have the Super Bowl on Sunday. So that is that. And so basically all those inserts are just in here for the whole year. And this brings me peace. Don't ask me why, but just having it all here, and I will leave the old ones in here for the whole year so I can go back and track stuff if I need to. I think it's just maybe something that feels very organized and sane, and it has everything that I need thus far anyway. We'll see if anything needs to change for next month or the months that come after, and I can find it easily. So I just keep my extra little weekly pages in this little pocket back here, and that is it for my A5 rings binder, and this will be the setup for February. So we'll see if I end up keeping the same folder for March. If I do, then I probably won't bother doing another flip through, because the internal parts are probably going to just stay the same. So anyway, we'll put this over here, and then I'll just briefly kind of talk about how I'm using this guy. So when I went to California in, when was that? It was May, because it was for one of my high school girlfriend's 50th birthday party. And I got to go to the in-person Erin Condren store in Irvine, which was a lot of fun. And they had this undated planner there. Now I bought these tabs too. These were separate, and I added these onto here, and I've had this ever since then, because I figured it's I wanted to kind of start using it at the beginning of the year. I'm really kind of off their ring planners, mostly just because they're just so bulky. They're not easy to travel with, and this is, it's pretty sleek. If I want to work on marketing stuff while I'm on the plane or in hotels or whatever, I can just kind of whip this guy out, and he doesn't take up a lot of space in my bag. So that is nice. And so this I am being a little bit more colorful with. I will just use my black pen for that. But in here we can see I'm leaning into my marker collection and the Erin Condren stickers that I've collected over the years, kind of thing. And this is really just going to be my content calendar, and that is all this is going to be used for. Is just like, when am I doing reels, when am I doing photos, when do I want my newsletter to go out, when would I ideally love to post YouTube videos, kind of thing. So if this isn't up before Thursday or before Saturday, that's the plan anyway, that I would like this to be up, edited and up by the 7th. So even though we're filming it on Monday, and actually, you know, maybe I could get this up early, that would be nice. And so we just have like notes here for content ideas, and then of course there's the weekly spreads where I can get a little more detailed, like if I have actual video ideas or titles, or maybe even just like a to-do list of whatever it is I'm working on. If I'm putting a reel together, you know, what's the basic concept, what do I want it to look like, and just do a little bit more planning there. So this brings me a little bit of colorful joy. I don't know why I kind of like to work on marketing stuff in color. It just kind of activates a different part of my brain or whatever. But I don't want to do my my main planning in this way. I have done it in the past, and it feels a little bit too much all over the place. But here I am happy to bust out my markers and my matching stickers and just kind of feel a little more, I guess, childlike with this. And so I really do like this a lot. I think it's a beautiful planner. It's, you know, pretty, it's sturdy, but it's, you know, it's a little more flexible than some of their other hard-sided ones. So anyway, that is all I have. This was a pretty lengthy planner video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I may or may not be doing one for March. A lot will just depend on what I end up, you know, how I end up feeling about staying in this guy, and or if I decide to make any changes to my my internal bits here. So if something ends up not working and I want to share that with you, then I will. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed, I would love it if you would subscribe here. If you would like more information about my books, my name is Rebecca Taylor. I am a best-selling psychological thriller author, and you can find links to my current books in the description below. I hope you will check those out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.